This is an out-of-the-box review of the Polar Lights 1350 Enterprise Refit. This came out a couple years ago in the early 2000s. There's a new release coming up in May 2009, so I figured this would be a good time to pull this out. And I also wanted to get some shots of this before I actually start building it. This is my second attempt at this. The first one stopped recording only a couple minutes in, so I've already debagged a few parts and proceeded along the way, so I'll just cover everything that I just did real quick. As you can see, a lot of model boxes, when you open them up, it'll be a nice big box, and then there's this tiny little piece of plastic in there, and it's a real disappointment. But in this case, when you open up the box, the first thing you see is this massive dish, which is just about 16 inches across, and the whole thing builds up to just over 30 inches long. And the first time I opened this up, I was just shocked. I started laughing my head off that the insanity of it, basically. It was just such a beautiful thing. And then when I had tried to put all the parts back into the box after I'd looked at them all, I couldn't, because everything was so well packed that it was just really difficult. One of the things I want to definitely talk about is the difference between the Refit and the 1701A. The first major thing that's different is this BC deck. This is a bit too steep. I've been watching the early movies recently, and basically this is accurate to the Reliant and the fourth movie when they brought the A version out. So they took the original studio model, made a couple modifications to it, and called it an entirely new ship. So this is accurate to the 1701A, which is how the model is billed. However, they while they do include one different part, whether it's Refit or A, this is not one of them, unfortunately. ABS plastic, it's real stable, it's really thick, and the whole thing is exceptionally well engineered. All the seams pretty much disappear, and all the keys and pins really lock into each other. It's probably the best engineered model that I've ever purchased. One of the things they're changing in the May 2009 edition is this base stand. They're putting a metal rod into there now. They're also adding a lot of decals, which I don't have in this box. Those are safely stored away elsewhere, so I can't quite show you offhand. But those are really detailed and rich collection of imagery. But I think there are also some inaccuracies in that, and you can get accurate decals rather. I think a Starship Modeler may have those, and there's also a more accurate hangar bay that you can get, and we'll talk about all that as we go. So a lot of this is still bagged, and the one of the things you'll definitely notice about this model is all the clear plastic you get. There's just trees and trees of the stuff. Something that you won't find with any other model anywhere. Everything is pretty well poured. There's pretty much no flash, no portholes, no stubs, very little of anything that needs any actual cleaning. It's another feather in the cap of this kit for Polar Lights. Here's the only different part you get, depending on if you want to build the Refit or the 1701A, and the shape is a little different here, and the only other major thing is that this piece has some grid lines. So I think this one's the A, and this one's the Refit. I think this is a little wider, perhaps a little deeper, and this one is just a little, yeah, this one's a little more shallow, I guess. A piece that would have been really nice if they had included would have been an accurate sensor dish. This one is accurate to the 1701A, which again is what the model is billed as. However, this is a bit too fat or inelegant, basically, for the Refit. The rings around here concentric as they are not accurate. There's 4 little pieces of squares here that are inaccurate, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done on this one piece alone to make it more accurate to the original motion picture version. The bridge is also completely inaccurate, and if they had included anything to make those a little better, that would have been nice. I'm pretty sure they haven't made accurate pieces and are including them in the new kit for the 2009 release, which is unfortunate because other than that, this is really exceptional. At the time, it was the most expensive model that I had ever bought at about $50, and it was definitely worth every penny.